Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm your host, Nashology, and today we'll be diving into one of the most important Captain America stories of all time, the birth of the Winter Soldier. Ever since Captain America the Winter Soldier first released back in 2014, Bucky Barnes has been a fan-favorite character in the Marvel Universe. And for good reason, too. Of all 30-plus movies in the MCU, this is still the best one, by far. And Bucky is probably the best part of that film, so he deserves all the love. In case you've been following my new Avengers series over on this channel, this video takes place roughly at the same time as New Avengers Part 1. So, this story is set before Civil War, Secret Invasion, and most of the big Marvel events in the 2000s era. Okay, that's enough for now. We got a pretty big story for you today, so without further ado, I present to you the story of Captain America, the birth of the Winter Soldier. Enjoy. The day grows old as the sounds of struggling echo throughout the hidden military installation. A trespasser has been caught, sneaking into a place that isn't supposed to exist. The Red Guardian has found himself in a tricky situation, and now the Russian superhero is unlikely to leave in one piece. The Red Skull is not alone. He's joined by General Lukin, a high-ranking member of the now-defunct Soviet KGB. Although saddened, General Lukin knows that this meeting needs to be kept a secret. The Red Room may try to stop the general, but they'll need a lot more than super soldiers to interrupt his plans. Red Guardian tells the general that he's under arrest for treason against Mother Russia, punishable by death. But General Lukin is unperturbed. He looks down at the defeated super soldier and tells him he's all that's left of the real Mother Russia. With the Red Guardian dead, General Lukin and the Red Skull get back to business. It's not a weapons deal without a little death. With the Soviet Union now gone, General Lukin is looking to sell KGB weaponry to the highest bidder. But one weapon stops the Red Skull in his tracks. It can't be. Is this real? The fabled Winter Soldier? The deadliest assassin in the world? A true weapon of epic proportions. One that can topple empires. But sadly, he is not for sale. This weapon is too valuable. General Lukin suggests a trade, the Winter Soldier for a cosmic cube, an unbelievably powerful weapon that is rumored to be in the Red Skull's possession. Annoyed that Lukin knows about the cosmic cube, the Red Skull scoffs at the request. He doesn't have the cube, and even if he did, he would never trade such an item, because one day the Red Skull will find the cosmic cube. It's inevitable. And when that day comes, the Winter Soldier will be as useless as the world's defenses. Lost in thought, Steve surrenders himself to the endless onslaught of memories. It seems like it was just yesterday that the world erupted in a bloody war. A war that raged on for years and left many houses devoid of life and devoid of laughter. 75 million souls taken too soon. A tragic ending for lives not yet lived. But Steve Rogers is awakened from his daydream by Sharon Carter, or as S.H.I.E.L.D. has dubbed her, Agent 13. Steve hasn't been himself lately. He's been distracted, living in a dreamland, all unacceptable for Captain America. Sharon is now Steve's S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison. It's her job to make sure that he keeps his mind clear so that American lives can depend on him. Sharon tells her ex-lover that she's worried about him. He's not opening up to his therapist, and his anger has been showing. His actions lately have been quite extreme, to say the least, and very unlike Captain America.
Oh shit, it's him! Get ready!
You're not going to die yet. Defuse the bomb right now and stop this train. Or else you're going straight to hell.
Captain America stopped the train and averted the disaster, but Sharon's sentiment remains. He's getting violent and he's getting reckless. 2 dead bodies and many more injured. The Red Skull is out there, and ever since he's escaped custody, Captain America has only gotten more violent. And if the Red Skull isn't captured soon, Steve will only get worse. The Red Skull, Bucky's death, World War II. It's no wonder the nightmares have begun. But Sharon tells him that he'll be okay. He just needs to keep his head in the game. They will find the Red Skull and stop him before he plans something big. Before he kills any more people, he will be stopped. After many years of looking, after countless failures, it's finally his. The cosmic cube is once again in his possession, the conduit of unbelievable power. And once the clock strikes midnight, the world shall burn for the Red Skull. His plan is almost in action. With the resulting death and destruction, the imperfect cosmic cube shall be fully powered. For now, it's unable to reach its true potential. Only minutes now until midnight. New York, Paris, and London will be the first to fall. And as the Red Skull stares at the Manhattan skyline, preparing for the bombs to go off, he gets an unsuspecting phone call. It's none other than General Lukin, the Russian betrayer he met 5 years earlier. The very same man who wanted what the Red Skull has in his possession. General Lukin knows that the cosmic cube is with the Red Skull. That secret was never going to stay hidden. The General wants that cube, and there's nothing that will stop him from getting it. The true power calls to him. And with that, a laugh is the last thing that leaves the lungs of the Red Skull.
Mission accomplished, General. The cube is yours.
Beneath the streets of Manhattan, worry and dread fill the air. It's midnight, and the Red Skull hasn't called. The plans were supposed to begin at midnight. This isn't like the Red Skull. When a plan is set in motion, he always follows through. The members of the group AID wait impatiently, but one man tells them all to shut up. The Red Skull will call when he can. And if he doesn't, then Crossbones himself will blow New York straight to hell. In the sky above New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. scrambles at the recent news. Nobody can believe their ears. One of the most dangerous criminals in the world has been killed, shot through the chest with cold precision. Steve still can't believe it. After months of brutal nightmares, he convinces himself that this is just another one. But a nightmare it is not, for the body of the Red Skull lies 10 feet away on an autopsy table, his heart forcefully removed from his abdomen. Silence overcomes Steve as Nick Fury watches on in anticipation. High-powered sniper round right to the chest. He was dead before hitting the ground. Whoever put this bullet through the Red Skull is one hell of a professional. But if the Red Skull is in New York, he's here for a reason. He must be planning something big. And in order to figure out what that is, Steve needs to go to the crime scene. And he needed to be there yesterday. Nick Fury explains the situation. The Red Skull was killed in his Upper West Side penthouse, a price tag in the 8 digits, including bulletproof windows. Clearly, they weren't bulletproof enough. The Red Skull was on the phone when he died, but it's untraceable, a dead end. Looking at the chalk marks on the ground, Steve remembers the first time he ever heard of the Red Skull. He was Hitler's right-hand man, a Nazi icon and a walking terror, a nightmare-fueled boogeyman for Jewish children worldwide. In many ways, he was the exact opposite of Captain America, an antithesis of sorts. A horrific image forever burned into Steve Rogers' memory, one that will never leave. Snapping back to reality, Steve realizes this nightmare is not over. He needs to figure out why the Red Skull was in New York. But luckily for Steve, a S.H.I.E.L.D. scientist stumbles upon something big. It's a display case for something powerful. Whatever was inside was being charged like a battery. 3 separate signals all feeding into the case. This is definitely it, the Red Skull's big plan. And the first signal has already been traced. The source is nearby. It's time for Captain America to get to work. As they traverse the New York sewer system, Captain America and Agent 13 approach the mysterious signal. But they have to do it alone. If S.H.I.E.L.D. sends more men, they'll no longer have the advantage. Sharon gives a cold look to Steve. It becomes apparent that S.H.I.E.L.D. has another agenda at work, one that Captain America sees coming. He tells Sharon that he wasn't the one who killed the Red Skull. He's not an assassin. He wouldn't stoop to that level. He's here to figure out the truth. Someone's responsible for that death, and he won't stop until he has all the answers. It takes only minutes until their target is found. They have tracked the signal. And now, the Red Skull's plan will be undone. With the soldier pinned to the ground, Steve asks who they are. He tells them their name, AID, Advanced Ideas in Destruction, the Red Skull's new army. But why are they in the sewers? What are they planning? The answers will have to come later. Sharon returns fire to the Red Skull's men. There's a dozen of them at least. But Captain America needs to end this now. With one final throw, Captain America tosses his shield, hitting the last AID soldier in the back and causing him to accidentally start the bomb's activation. The plan is revealed: a firebomb underneath New York. It'll kill thousands. The Red Skull looked to level Manhattan from below, but now is their chance. With the timer counting down, Sharon and Steve look to deactivate the bomb the only way they know how. Using his shield, Steve destroys the power supply to the bomb, causing the bomb to immediately deactivate. It was a close call for S.H.I.E.L.D. But something isn't right. Why would the Red Skull randomly blow up New York? There has to be more to the plan. The Red Skull, AID, and a mysterious assassin. Something big is happening. Just then, Agent 13 gets a call from Nick Fury. The plan is bigger after all. They did a thermal reading on the glass case in the Red Skull's apartment. They know what it was housing. A cosmic cube. The Red Skull had a cosmic cube. And now whoever killed the Red Skull has the cube, and their identity is still unknown. As Nick Fury continues to speak with Captain America, his words are overheard by Crossbones. So it's true. The Red Skull is dead, but the plan will not die with him. As Crossbones escapes the sewer system, he pulls off his mask in annoyance. He didn't plan for this to happen. Picking up the phone, Crossbones calls AID soldiers in London, England. The plan must continue. The Red Skull may be dead, but the world will still burn in his memory. New York may be free, but London and Paris are not. The bombs will still go off in those cities, and Captain America will not be able to stop them all. New York has been saved, but two bombs still remain: London, England, and Paris, France. S.H.I.E.L.D. has sent Captain America and Agent 13 to Paris. They need to stop that bomb, and quick. The lives of thousands of Paris civilians will be in their hands. No Avengers to fall back on. They need to shut down Red Skull's army right here and now. There's no other option. Steve will need to put his nightmares behind him. He'll need to keep his head in the game. Because if he fails, the Red Skull will have the last laugh from his grave. London, England, the site of the second bomb. But it's oddly quiet, devoid of sound. And to make matters worse, bodies are littered throughout the sewer system. It's a mass grave. Dozens of them. The Red Skull's AID soldiers have been massacred, and it looks like it wasn't a fair fight at all. Looking down, the English hero known as Union Jack prepares to make the dreaded call. The AID soldiers are dead, and the bomb is missing. Whoever killed the Red Skull might be behind this. With the bomb missing, London is not yet safe. Sharon tells Union Jack to keep searching around London. The city might need to be locked down. Captain America and his S.H.I.E.L.D. team are approaching Paris. They need to find the third bomb before the new mysterious players beat them to it. Tensions rise as Captain America and Agent 13 fly above the city of Paris. Their day is about to go from bad to worse. New intel has arrived. The Paris firebomb is on the move. It's leaving the sewers right now. Either the bomb is being stolen or the Red Skull's men are taking off. Either way, they need to act fast. And Steve refuses to let them get away. So as they approach from above, Steve does what only Captain America can do and jumps from 100 feet in the air, calculating his fall with incredible precision, and landing on top of the escaping hoverjet. With a powerful EMP device at his disposal, Steve places it on the hull of the hoverjet, knocking the jet's electronics offline and causing all systems to fail. The hoverjet is down, and this time, they're not getting away. But to the surprise of Captain America, it's not the Red Skull's men. It's AIM, a rival organization. Are they the ones responsible for the London attack? Unfortunately, Steve will have to wait for the answer. With AIM taken care of, Captain America grabs the nearest two bodies. Someone is going to explain what's going on here, and they're going to explain it right now. AIM had nothing to do with the Red Skull's death, and they had nothing to do with the London attack. The Red Skull's men, AID, simply abandoned their post in Paris, France. The bomb used to belong to AIM, and when Captain America stopped them, they were in the middle of taking back the bomb from AID, nothing more. So, the Red Skull is dead by an unknown entity. AID is left without leadership, and the criminal organization AIM is taking no responsibility for any of this. The New York bomb is deactivated, the Paris bomb is now in SHIELD custody, and the London bomb is still missing. It's back to the drawing board. A cold air pampers the night sky underneath the Eiffel Tower. It's been a hard year for Steve Rogers. Nightmares plague both his waking life and otherwise. Although glad to be off the clock, Steve can't help but feel the unending cycle of war continue. A cycle he can never seem to be rid of. The last time he was in Paris, it was under siege, and it looked a whole lot different than it does today. August 1944. The French resistance fought back against Hitler. They were determined to undo his unlawful regime. He fought alongside the invaders, and they did what they could to aid the war effort. It was a harrowing time that stuck with Captain America all these years. The French resistance did everything they could to win back their country, and Captain America would have gladly died alongside them. But instead, he lived, and in return, he was awarded with a lifetime of unending nightmares, and a face that will always haunt him. Looking out across the channel, Steve knows war will never end. It's too ingrained in humanity. All he can do is work his hardest to make the world a better place, a safer place. The Red Skull may be dead, but his memory lives on, and his support knows no bounds. And it's up to Captain America to drown out his influence, no matter how long it takes, and no matter how many nightmares he must endure.
Today in Paris, Captain America stopped a possible WMD attack from the terror group AIM. We now go to our...
Sitting at a bar, Jack Monroe scoffs at the news report. At least some heroes are still doing their job, while others are barely scraping by. Nobody believes Jack about his prior life, about working alongside Captain America. Nobody believes the man he used to be. Jack Monroe used to go by the alias Nomad, and he worked beside Captain America for years. He was strong, hard-headed, and was willing to go toe-to-toe with evil. But now, nobody knows who he was. Leaving the bar, Jack hears a faint noise behind him. It's only a matter of seconds before he hears his name.
Jack Monroe?
Huh? Do I know you?
It looks like somebody knew who Jack Monroe was, after all. As Sharon Carter enters the briefing room, she senses the seriousness in the air. Nick Fury has something important to say. They have a lead on who killed the Red Skull, and it's not who you think. Sharon perks up. It's about time SHIELD started doing its job before more bodies pile up. This morning, a sniper rifle was found inside luggage at Dulles International Airport. And yes, it is the same weapon that killed the Red Skull. But that's not all. There were prints on the weapon. Prints of someone long forgotten. Jack Monroe. the old hero known as Nomad, worked with Captain America for a time before falling off into obscurity. Well, it looks like he's finally surfaced. Jack Monroe has always had an anger problem. He was even brainwashed into killing costumed criminals at one time. But here he is, with his fingerprints on the murder weapon. A little too convenient. But luckily, Jack Monroe used to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and what comes with that is a little welcoming gift. A tracking device, implanted in his shoulder. He doesn't even know about it. Nick Fury tells Agent 13 to track down Jack Monroe. It could be real or it could be a trap. Either way, it's time that S.H.I.E.L.D. gets to the bottom of this mystery. They need to find Jack Monroe before more bodies drop, and Sharon is the only agent he trusts. And as Sharon walks off to hunt down Captain America's former teammates, Nick Fury knows that this is a long way from over. A long way. Killing the Red Skull was one thing, but this is revolting. Captain America looks down at two desecrated graves, vandalized in order to send a message he has received loud and clear. These men deserved better. After all, they were both Captain America. William Naslund, the first Captain America to take the mantle after Steve was lost to the world. Originally a hero named the Spirit of 76, Naslund was always meant for bigger things. And when Steve was thought dead, William Naslund was given the title of Captain America in his place. President Roosevelt didn't want America to lose faith. He didn't want the world to think Captain America could die. So Naslund took up the mantle. He became an icon until his unfortunate death in 1946. Most people have never heard of William Naslund. Very few people know his story, his accomplishments. And the same can be said of Jeffrey Mace, the next Captain America. He was first known as the Patriot, a man of honor and bravery. In 1946, the Patriot saw William Naslund killed, but he wasn't about to let the legend die. Jeffrey Mace took the shield and became the next Captain America, a role he would give his life to until 1949. Both of these men carried the shield. The American people owe them everything. They kept the legend alive while Steve was frozen in the ice. But their identities were kept a secret. To the world, there was only ever one Captain America, Steve Rogers. So whoever desecrated these graves knows the secret history of the shield. This was a message directly aimed at Steve Rogers. Whoever did this will pay. They will feel a vibranium edge pressed against their throat. And maybe this time, he won't give them a chance to breathe. Leaving the cemetery, Steve's anger boils over. Only a monster would disrespect dead men. But with the Red Skull dead, it clearly wasn't him. So who could it be? As his thoughts cloud his present state of mind, Steve doesn't see what's right in front of him. Shots fired. Captain America is viciously thrown into the air as his motorcycle crashes into a heap of metal. It's time for a brand new nightmare. Crossbones, one of Captain America's deadliest enemies. Did he do this? Is he the monster that desecrated those graves? With a powerful punch, Crossbones sends Captain America flying. He isn't here to play around. He's here to make America's hero pay, to make him suffer. For some reason, Captain America is barely fighting back. He's not focused. He can barely defend himself. It's an absolute one-sided fight in Crossbones' favor. The Cosmic Cube is missing. The destroyed gravestones, there's too much noise in Captain America's head. He's not in this fight. Crawling in defeat, Captain America calls Crossbones a coward. Only a coward would deface grave markers. But Crossbones doesn't know what he's talking about. He was never at a graveyard. He's only here because some Russian guy told him that he'd find Captain America here. Some dumb Russian guy he's never even met. And with a final kick, Crossbones leaves the defeated Steve on the road. Victory is his. But this was too easy. He didn't sign up for an easy fight. He doesn't know who that Russian guy is, but he's not going to kill Captain America like a dog. And so, he leaves the hero, battered and bloody. After that beating, he's lucky that he's still alive. And as an unsatisfied Crossbones walks off, Captain America is left with only a single thought in his head. What Russian was he talking about? She's found him. After a long search, Sharon has followed Jack Monroe's signal to this location. It's time to bring him in for some questioning. If they can talk to Jack Monroe, they will find out who paid him to kill the Red Skull. That is, if he himself is not a victim in all this. Walking through the abandoned building, Sharon feels a sense of dread overcoming her. An eerie feeling with every step she takes. Something feels off. Almost as if somebody was waiting for her. On board the helicarrier, Captain America nurses his black eye. He is lucky that Crossbones showed mercy. But thankfully, Nick Fury has some good news. Back in London, Union Jack and his team stumbled upon something big. A dozen dead bodies, all of the Red Skull's men. It was a massacre. But an unknown body was also found. And at the time, we didn't know who it belonged to, until now. He's an ex-Soviet soldier, used to play for the Russians until he went rogue. His leader is General Alexander Lukin, a big deal in the Russian military who defected years ago. He and his men have been missing for several years. But now, he's resurfaced as the CEO of the Cronus Corporation. He's likely up to no good. This must be the Russian that Crossbones was talking about. He killed the Red Skull and took the Cosmic Cube. There's no doubt about it. But something catches Steve's attention. The Cronus Corporation. That name. Cronus was a tiny village in Russia. Confused, Nick Fury tells Steve that he's never heard of it before. What is the connection between Alexander Lukin, the Red Skull, and the Russian village of Cronus? How do all these pieces fit together? As Steve's memories begin to flood in, he realizes the pieces in fact do fit together. They fit perfectly. Everything is starting to make sense. Steve recalls one of the worst episodes of World War II to Nick Fury. It was a day where monsters were born. As heavy snow beats down the Russian forces, Captain America prepared to retake the village of Cronus. The Nazis had an ultra-destructive superweapon stationed in Cronus. They needed to liberate the village and destroy the weapon. Colonel Vasily Karpov was leading the Russians. He was a foul, distasteful man who loved to torture and kill. In many ways, war made him a cold, heartless man. He hated the Germans and wanted nothing more than to eradicate them by any means necessary. He was one of the first men that Captain America truly disliked. As the men prepared for the Battle of Cronus, Karpov tells the captain why he's like this. Only the hardest of men survive war. It is for no American to judge how a Russian survives. They must be strong if they're to defeat Hitler. And as the snow continues to blanket the Russian landscape, both men prepare for a night of blood and a night of fire. The village of Cronus. The Nazi weapon was close, and Captain America needed to find it fast. But this wasn't going to be a stealth mission. Karpov's men craved German blood. The alarm was raised and everything went to hell. Bullets flew in every direction. To make matters worse, the Germans had their own super soldier, codename Masterman. Racing to the skies, Captain America's teammates Namor and the Torches looked to take down Masterman before he could attack the Russian troops. It would be a battle that would set the sky on fire. As Captain America screamed at Karpov to protect the villagers, he was met with a cold look. Karpov had no intention of protecting anybody. With Namor and the invaders locked in a deadly duel with the German super soldier, Captain America encroached on the powerful and mysterious weapon. It had to be here.
Fire in the hole!
Approaching the barn, Captain America and Bucky look for the mysterious weapon. But they don't have to look very long. They had found the weapon, and it was devastatingly powerful. So much so that half the village was destroyed in a single blast, dozens of people killed. But it wasn't over. The energy weapon kept firing, destroying every building in the village, and killing dozens of men, Russian, German, and innocent. It didn't matter. The Red Skull was behind it, and he knew that he couldn't hold the village of Cronus, so destroying the entire village was the next best thing. He wasn't going to stop until every Russian villager was a heap of ashes. He would kill every person he could touch. But before Steve and Bucky could take him down, he was already gone. Flown to safety by Masterman, although the village of Cronus had been reduced to a smoldering pile of ash. Instead of chasing the Red Skull, the two Torches decide to take to the skies and turn the snow into rain. But it's no good. The village of Cronus was destroyed. The Red Skull had taken his victory. And before Karpov could claim the powerful German weapon, it self-destructs, killing several of Karpov's men. One final departing gift from the Red Skull. That day shook Captain America to his core. The Allied troops suffered a profound defeat. Dozens of dead soldiers and a destroyed Russian village. Almost no survivors. That day, the Red Skull created a monster in Colonel Karpov. A monster with an unquenchable thirst for revenge. Revenge that would be decades in the making. Karpov always knew he would avenge the village of Cronus. He would get back at the Red Skull no matter what. But all hope was not lost, for Karpov found a survivor, a young boy clinging to his dead mother. Karpov tells the boy that everything will be okay. He will make sure of it. He tells him that together, they will defeat anyone who wrongs them. They will get their revenge. And as the two walk away, hand in hand, Karpov asks the little boy his name, to which he calmly replies, Alexander Lukin. Tomorrow night is the big day, the day all the plans come together. If things go according to plan, the cosmic cube will finally be powered up. They will finish what the Red Skull could not. Alexander Lukin will finally have his revenge for all the wrong done to him. All he needs is the cosmic cube and bait for the final presentation. Every moment of the last few months has been punctuated by never-ending nightmares. His memories are screaming at him from within. In order to make sense of it all, Captain America needs to go back to the place his world was forever changed. The place where Captain America died. Trudging through the forest, Captain America doesn't know why this place is calling to him. Why bring him back after so many years? the castle of Baron Zemo, the man who finally put an end to Captain America and Bucky Barnes. Every nightmare has led him back here, every ounce of pain, every moment of regret surrounding Bucky's death. As Captain America walks through the abandoned Nazi castle, he reminisces on all the time he has lost. He was in the ice for decades, but he survived. Bucky never had that chance. He was taken too early. The memories of that fateful day have never left Captain America's mind. He thinks about it far too often and often asks himself, what do you call a nightmare that persists into waking life? The drone, it's taking off. It needs to be stopped before it's used to kill thousands. And as Captain America and Bucky jump for the drone, they barely manage to grab hold. They need to shut it down fast. Zemo cannot win. He cannot be allowed to kill innocent lives. They have to stop the drone before it leaves the island. But Captain America is losing his grip. He can't hold on much longer. It's too much. And as Captain America falls off the drone, he screams for Bucky to let go. They can't stop the drone. It's too late. Unable to drop off the drone, Bucky realizes he's stuck. He's caught on the drone and he can't release himself. Falling uncontrollably, Captain America watches in sheer horror as Zemo's final plan comes into effect. The drone was rigged to explode. Bucky never had a chance. The explosion killed him before he even realized the drone was rigged. That day, Zemo won. Steve has never accepted Bucky's death, but for some reason the memories have been terrorizing him more severely in the last few weeks. He can't seem to get the image of Bucky's last moments out of his head. But now, it's time to leave the island. In order for Steve to move on, he needed closure, and he'll need a clear head if he's going to... What the hell was that? Sharon? Why is he seeing Sharon? His head is pounding. This isn't making sense. Is this a message? Steve knows this isn't a coincidence. Someone is trying to get his attention, and it's obvious how they're doing it. The Red Skull had the cosmic cube, and even if its energy was low, it can still do amazing things. So if Alexander Lukin now has the cube, then he's clearly trying to get Captain America's attention, just like he did by destroying those gravestones. It's probably a trap, but he doesn't care. He's going to save Sharon regardless of the cost. He came to this island because of Bucky's memory. Maybe this was just to remind him to not lose another loved one. And as the shield jet takes off from the haunted island, Captain America prepares to lay it all on the line to protect his love. Showing very subtle signs of worry, Nick Fury breaks down the news to Agent Tapper. Sharon Carter, your ex-girlfriend, is missing. She was tasked with tracking down Jack Monroe and went silent. Agent Tapper had dated Sharon after she split with Captain America, but his feelings for her remained, and it was all too obvious for Nick Fury. Captain America is occupied, and he can't know about Sharon. If he does, he will lose his temper. Fury asks Agent Tapper to track down Sharon and bring her home before Captain America notices, and before Sharon is the next dead SHIELD agent on the news. Stepping into a hover car, Agent Tapper knows that not all superheroes wear capes, and this might be his time to be in the spotlight. As he takes off on his rescue mission, Nick Fury can only hope that he didn't just send Agent Tapper to his grave. Sitting at his desk, Nick Fury receives a call from Captain America. He knows about Sharon, and he knows it's a trap. But before Fury can talk him down, Captain America hangs up the phone. He has work to do. Parachuting out of the SHIELD jet, Captain America knows exactly where to go. Alexander Lukin purposefully showed him where to find Sharon. After all, it is certainly a trap for Lukin's men. Pulling off the tape, Sharon is freed from her restraints. But she screams at Steve, "It's a setup. They knew you were coming, but the news is much worse." Terrified, Sharon says she knows who killed the Red Skull and Jack Monroe. It's Bucky. The assassin is Bucky Barnes. Looking down in shock, Agent Tapper has found something big. Terrifyingly big. Calling Nick Fury, Tapper tells him that this might be the bomb that went missing. The bomb from London, England. It has to be. Moving to disarm it, Agent Tapper says this will only take a minute, but it should be no problem. Staring at the screen in shock, Fury doesn't know what just happened. He screams for Agent Tapper to respond, but Agent Tapper will never respond again. The bomb. They detonated the bomb. Lukin actually detonated the bomb. Grabbing Sharon, Steve realizes why they didn't kill him. Why they wanted him to come save Sharon. They wanted Captain America to have a front row seat to his defeat. After 50 years of dreaming, 50 years of planning, Alexander Lukin has won. The cosmic cube is his, and due to the death of thousands of innocents, it is now fully charged with energy. The Red Skull is dead, and Captain America has to face his demons. A victory well deserved. All done in the memory of the village of Cronus. Long live Russia. And long live the memory of Alexander's poor mother. But the game has just begun. The chess match has just started, and there are plenty of pawns left on the board. There will be a lot more entertainment to come. Thanks for watching our video on Captain America. If you enjoyed the story, don't worry. There's a lot more action to come. Stay tuned for the sequel, The Story of the Winter Soldier. Believe me when I say, it only gets better from here. Till next time, I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.